Get Him to the Greek is a 2010 comedy film starring Russell Brand and Jonah Hill, directed by Peter Stoller? Nicholas Stoller, sorry. Um, this movie is a childhood favorite of mine. I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid, and just recently it came out for free on TV, so I downloaded it and I was like, yes, thank God, this movie's returned to me. And I like this movie. As a comedy, it is basically perfect. Maybe not perfect, but it's very entertaining. It gets a laugh out of me like every 10 minutes, like every short amount of time, every short passage amount of time. There's always something new that makes me laugh. There's always a new joke, a new gag that really gets to me. I'm just like, fucking hell, like, come on. The highlight of this film is definitely Jonah Hill and Russell Brand. They work amazingly together. The comedy legends, essentially. They come across as their characters really well. They play them brilliantly. I believe the chemistry between them, they're pretty good. P. Diddy is also in this film for no reason. He just plays like a record producer, and he's very funny. There's this weird recurring joke about him like mind fucking people. Like whenever he's on scene, well, not whenever, but most of the time, he's just talking about how he loves to mind fuck, and he's currently mind fucking you right now. He's like, to Jonah Hill's character, he's like, I'm mind fucking you right now. He's amazing in this film. I love it when musicians are like good actors. Like, it's just brilliant. The film's script, like overall, is quite clever. They actually kind of set up jokes and they use them quite cleverly. Some of the dialogue is really funny. And oddly enough, TJ Miller is actually in this movie. He's a comedian that I don't particularly find funny. He's in it for like, I think maybe 2 minutes, like a minute and a half. TJ Miller is like, I think he's a person who only works in small doses. Like, I found him to be irritating in Deadpool. Oddly enough, I thought he was the best part of the Emoji Movie. Like, out of all the voice actors, he was actually putting effort into it, and he came across as most believable. But in this movie, he's only in it for a bit. He plays like a little comedy. Like, it's basically a sketch. It's a 1.5 minute sketch where he plays a drug dealer, he gets stabbed, and he's funny in that scene. But the highlight is definitely P. Diddy, Russell Brand, and Jonah Hill. They make the movie. If it was anyone else, then this movie wouldn't have worked, I don't think. They're perfect for who they play. Like, I couldn't imagine, like, Seth Rogen as the character. That would have just been stupid. Judd Apatow did actually produce this movie. He's, like, famous for all those Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill films. This isn't one of those movies. It's separate from those. Actually, I didn't actually know this until like a year ago, but apparently this film was actually a spin-off of the movie Forgetting About Sarah Marshall, where Russell Brand's character originally appeared, and it's got the same director. The only difference is that Jason Segel isn't involved in this film for some reason. Get into the Greek. The plot is basically, it's as simple as failing musician has a 10-year anniversary coming up. Fucking loser who works at a music production place is assigned to safely get him across the world to LA, and it just goes tits up. Like, I think the funniest scene in this movie is probably the Jeffrey scene, where after Aaron gets sexually assaulted by this crazy woman who carries a dildo around in her bag, Aldous, Russell Brand's character, gives him something called a Jeffrey, which has got like weed, heroin, methadone, morphine, a bunch of other unidentifiable shit, and a bit of angel dust, if I'm not mistaken. And Aaron reacts to it really badly. He thinks he's having a heart attack, and the whole scene is just mental. Like, Russell Brand and P. Diddy start fighting Russell Brand's dad character. Aaron, Jonah Hill's character, is just freaking out. He's stroking the furry wall. Be calm, stroke the furry wall. Just listen to my voice. Be calm, stroke the furry wall. And it's mental. It's literally a drug trip. That's the whole scene. It's a drug trip. That's the whole thing. We're basically seeing it from Jonah Hill's character's, Aaron's perspective. It's brilliant. Also, the ending to this movie is quite sweet. There is actually quite an upsetting moment that is it. It doesn't come out of nowhere. Like it does actually fit into the movie very well, where Aldous finds out that his son isn't actually his, and his girlfriend cheated on him with some Italian guy, and the reason he's called Naples is because the love affair happened in Naples, in Italy, and that was actually quite touching. And it was immediately followed by the very horrible, drug-addicted, manipulative Aldous tricking Aaron's girlfriend into having a threesome with them, and Aaron reluctantly agreeing. And Aaron realizes that Aldous is, just a lonely guy. He's miserable. And who the fuck is texting me? Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, and then Aldous almost kills himself. Aaron shows up. Like he realizes Aldous is just a lonely guy. He just wants some friends. He has a heart and a head, like Aaron said, which Aldous denied, but now he's admitting. And it wraps up nice with a little bow on top, with Aldous performing at the Greek theatre and Aaron reuniting with his girlfriend, despite cheating on her about maybe twice. It's implied he cheats on her twice willingly, despite it only showing he does it once, and then unwillingly a third time, which, as funny as that scene was, it did feel a bit controversial, kind of like they were begging for people to complain. Like a guy straight up just gets raped by some drunk woman. It's actually, when you dissect it, it's fucking horrible. But if you don't think about it too hard, then it can be kind of funny. But at the same time, felt a bit unnecessary. Yeah, I have not seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I might in the future because of my love for this movie, especially Russell Brand's character. I feel like if he was good in this movie, he had to have been good in the fucking hell. He had to have been good in the movie that was spun off from that bitch. Yeah. So the rape scene does kind of take points off of it, and I would say, other than that, the movie's basically, it's not just a good comedy, it is actually a good movie. It has clever writing, it's well directed, some of the cinematography is kind of interesting, nothing spectacular or special, but it's not bland. You can kind of get into the mood of the film thanks to the way it's filmed. And like I said, how amazing everyone is. Even some of the minor roles, like I said, TJ Miller, who I ordinarily don't find funny or straight up find irritating, is very funny because he's only in it for 5 seconds. So yeah, this film knows what it's doing. It's a very clever, funny, fun movie. I definitely recommend it. Maybe not watch it when you were as young as I was when I watched it. That was probably not a good idea. But definitely go for it if you must. I'd probably give it 8 out of 10. It is an 8 out of 10 movie. Defo recommend. So yeah, get him to the Greek. Go watch it if you enjoy a good laugh, a good riot, and if you enjoy feeling like you're part of a drug trip for 6 minutes. So, thanks a lot. Bye, skis!